How you doing, everybody? It's still Wednesday the 20th of January 2010 and it's just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, sometimes the brazenness of these politicians and their audacity, their sheer arrogance, it takes your breath away. And I was just looking at the news reports this morning in the newspapers online, and they are going to have a banking inquiry, a secret one, and they say it's going to take a year. And reading between the lines, that means that it is going to be secret, it's going to be super secret, and it's going to take about 3 years. So it'll run the whole length of this DAIL, and it means that any questions that come up of a nature that relate to this bank, that relate to banks, that relate to anybody or anything to do with the banks, will all be thrown at F1. Oh no, I can't answer that because that may compromise what might arise in the banking inquiry. The banking inquiry really will centre around this Anglo-Irish bank, and it was the second biggest. It had the second biggest loan book after Allied Irish, and I think so far we've given nearly 4 billion into those two big banks, and we've given a considerable amount more into Anglo-Irish. You see, you don't really know how much has been given over at all, because you have to get the figures from something like an official body like the Central Statistics Office, because to tell you horse balls or lemons in the DAIL, I mean, you just forget about what they talk about in the DAIL. Anyway, as I say, one of the big elements will be the Anglo-Irish debacle that took place, that we should have to step in and nationalise a bank, and that what should be going on in this bank is a fraud of gargantuan proportions, colossal proportions. Imagine there was a hole in the accounts of that bank to the tune of 8 billion euros. Just think about this, 8,000 million euros the hole was. And whatever was going on between Anglo-Irish Bank and Irish Life and Permanent, they were able to loan Anglo-Irish 8 billion euros to fill that hole. It beggars belief. The whole thing just beggars belief. So really reading between the lines, will anything come out of it? Well, in 3 or 4 years' time, so much shit will have gone past. What happened in Anglo-Irish will seem like a tiny ripple on the pond. But before we leave it, mustn't forget one of the things that has astounded me over the last year, because this came into the public domain in January of 2009, and it was the relationship between these three men. One, Brian Cowan, our Taoiseach. Two, his best pal, Fintan Drury, alright, who held down positions in, first of all, was appointed by Brian Cowan to be the Director General, sorry, not the Director General, to the chairmanship of the board of RTE, the RTE Authority, and then on top of that was on the board of Anglo-Irish Bank, and then also was appointed on the board of Dublin Docklands Development Authority. Okay, so he's seriously compromised in a lot of this whole thing. This is Brian Cowan's best friend, and in turn his best friend is none other than Sean Fitzpatrick, and he and Sean Fitzpatrick are involved in several major business deals across Europe. So what's stunned me is why nobody has raised this in the DAIL and asked our Taoiseach, our present Taoiseach, Brian Cowan, directly, what is your involvement with this man, Fintan Drury? And he has an ongoing relationship with Sean Fitzpatrick, and one in the past. Have you had in the past? Not that you have one now, because you probably don't, but have you had in the past? But see, that's all water under the bridge now, because they can't ask it now, because he just throws hands up and say, oh no, those are questions that the Attorney General told me not to answer, because it may compromise what is going to be raised in this banking inquiry. So anyway, that's the world we live in. I just thought I'd raise it. It's just the whole thing stinks to high heaven, and It's just going to be more money for the boys, more money for the fat cats down in the forecourts. That's all.